Hey there, and welcome back to Utility Sports. If you do enjoy our NFL draft content, please subscribe and like the video. We do appreciate your support, and we'd like to see that people are enjoying what we are putting out when it comes to the NFL draft. And today's video, we're actually going to be going over the top 5 running backs in this year's NFL draft. And starting off at number 1, for us, it was Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne's a guy who can bring it to the house on every time that he touches the football. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's an elusive runner. There's a lot to like about Travis Etienne. The one thing that's kind of concerning from his junior year, if he would have came out, he definitely, I think, would have been a first-round pick in last year's class, possibly top of the second round. But for Etienne, he had 7.8 yards per carry last year. This year it's down to 5.1. I'm not exactly sure what you can attribute that to, but for Etienne, he is definitely a guy who is on the top of a lot of people's running back boards. Just his combination of elusiveness, speed, ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. He is super dangerous with the ball in his hands. And him and Trevor Lawrence have been, obviously phenomenal this season for Clemson. There's a lot to like about him. A lot of people do like him, but there's also a lot of people that have a preference towards the second guy on our list. That's going to be Najee Harris. And Najee Harris is obviously a powerful running back. He kind of reminds you a little bit of Derrick Henry with how violent and aggressive he is when running the football. But the thing that really impresses me is he has a wonderful stiff arm. Obviously, I think it's the best in this class. He also has the ability, which is kind of odd, for being 230 pounds, he can hurdle. I've seen plenty of times on tape where he's hurdled the defenders clear, and it's really impressive with his height and weight that he is able to do that. He's one of those bigger backs, but his big trait is the stiff arm, powerful running back. He runs right through arm tackles. He is one tough guy to bring down. Just the reason that he's a little lower than Etienne, he's just a little slower, and he's not as much as a pass catcher as Travis Etienne. So for Najee Harris, that's not a knock being at number 2 on this list, but he is a phenomenal running back, obviously one of the best in the country. He's averaging 6.1 yards per carry, which is very, very good. So a lot to like about Najee Harris, and he does it in the SEC. And there's so much going on for Najee Harris, and I think he could be a second-round pick. Possibly, it's possible that he falls to the third, but he'll probably be in that second-round realm. Going to our number 3 running back was a guy who, before the season started, was arguably the top running back coming into this season, and that's Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State. And he had 2,000 yards last year. That's really nothing to sneeze at. If you're an Oklahoma State fan, it's been a little frustrating this year. His first, I think it was 3 games, he started off pretty slow, wasn't getting the carries that he needed. But after that, the volumes picked up for him as a whole. But he's got an ankle injury right now. That's kind of ailed him, the last couple of weeks, and he's actually been out for some of that time. So that definitely hurts his stock, and it hurts his ability to show people what he can do. I firmly believe if he had opted out last year, he definitely would have been back into the first, or more likely the second round, where we saw some of those elite college running backs go once again. Or excuse me, if he would have just opted out and went to the draft this year, he would have been one of those for sure second round guys. Absolutely, possibly into the first if it was this season that he had opted out. There's just been a lot more issues. He's a good running back. He has good vision and everything, but just unfortunately the production hasn't been where it was last year for Hubbard, and it's really unfortunate for him because he is a special talent. And unfortunately, he is number 3 on the list now. After that, before the season, he very well could have been 1. But now the next guy I want to talk about is Javonte Williams, who averages 6.7 yards per carry. He's a really, really nice running back, and I think that people are going to start taking notice of him. And at North Carolina, he's been terrific. Obviously, of the running backs on this list, he has the most yards per carry. I mean, even above the impressive 6.1 from Najee Harris. But he's just a running back that also can run through arm tackles, and he's deceptive. And I really like Williams' game from North Carolina, and I think it's possible. He climbs up boards, and he'll probably be a third-round running back this year. I'm not exactly sure where to gauge his value, but I think he will probably be in that third-round realm for Javonte Williams. And the final guy that I want to talk about on this list is one that's not as known as some of these other guys that we've seen play at the bigger time schools. And that's going to be Kenneth Gainwell from Memphis. And the big thing for Gainwell is he is really fit for today's NFL. Why is that, do you ask? He has the ability to catch the football. I mean, he's a pretty good runner as a whole. Let's not forget he rushed for 1,400 yards last year, but he was an opt-out this season. If we go down to Kenneth Gainwell, you will see that he had opted out, which is really unfortunate. I really wanted to see him play. He's the best receiving back in this entire class. And like PFF says here that he can legitimately play slot. And I had watched one of his games last year, and he set an FBS record. He was the first, he didn't set a record, but since 1997, he is the first running back to rush for 100 yards and also receive for 200 yards. So really impressive. He has an all-around game that really fits in today's NFL style. You have to have guys that can catch the football out of the backfield, and he's really been known to do this. Obviously, he had 51 catches last year on top of it, which is really, really impressive. I love Gainwell's game, and I think he's going to really fit in, and he's going to be an all-purpose back. He can do a lot of different things. You can line him up in the slot. You can line him up in the backfield. There's a lot of room for Gainwell to grow, and hopefully he continues to progress as a runner. But in terms of a route runner from a running back perspective, he's phenomenal. I really do enjoy his game. And so that's going to conclude our top 5 for the top 5 running backs in the NFL draft. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button. Also subscribe. If you do enjoy this content, we'd love for you to stick around. It would be much appreciated if you hit the subscribe button so you can continue to see our NFL draft content leading up to the NFL draft in 2021. So thanks so much for tuning in, and can't wait to see you in the next video.